the electric grid.
It makes sense, because anybody who says we don't want to spend the money, think of the 3 storms. After every damn storm, you wipe out the power grid, you got to rebuild it.
President Biden plans to visit storm-damaged communities in Florida on Sunday.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Former President Trump is proposing a tax deduction for home generators if he's elected, posting that it would apply to home generators purchased in states hit by natural disasters between September 1st of this year and the end of next August. He's about to hold a rally in Aurora, Colorado, focusing in part on Venezuelan gangs and what he calls migrant crime. Harris running mate Tim Walz focusing on manufacturing in Michigan.
We need to release the full potential of American industry, cut red tape so we can build more and build faster.
3 fellow Democratic governors begin a Blue Wall bus tour for Harris next week in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. The U.S. just issuing new Iran-related sanctions targeting the petroleum and petrochemical sectors after Iran's recent missile attack on Israel. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The case stacked against him. Sunny skies, 75 degrees, low 54 tonight. I'm Donnie Burgess. It's 3:02. Here's what's trending. An Indianapolis police officer facing state charges is now facing federal charges.
You may remember IMPD Sergeant Javed Richards, who was indicted on state charges for child exploitation and having child porn. Now a federal grand jury has indicted him on 5 counts of distributing child sex abuse material. Richards pleaded not guilty in court on Thursday. He's one of 4 Indianapolis cops who have either been suspended or fired because of sex crime cases this year. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Very little rain expected this weekend, and then temperatures cool down across Indiana.
So we're expecting temperatures on the in about the low 80s on Saturday, the mid 70s on Sunday, but then we're looking at a cool down to start the work week next week.
Monday could get off to a frosty start, says meteorologist Andrew White with the National Weather Service. The Indianapolis Colts are looking to get back on the winning side of things Sunday as they take on the Tennessee Titans, but the Colts will again be without running back Jonathan Taylor. He's out with an ankle injury. Quarterback Anthony Richardson's status is still up in the air. Indiana gas up 11 cents from last week, says AAA. Today's average is $3.25 a gallon. You and your family can get into the Halloween spirit by heading to the Indiana State Museum for Night at the Boo Bash.
Tickets are still available for tonight's Night at the Boo Bash at the Indiana State Museum.
We invite families and visitors to stay late. We're open from 6 to 8 p.m. with Night at the Boo Bash activities on all 3 floors of the Indiana State Museum.
For tickets, go to indianamuseum.org. Terry Stacy, WIBC Mobile News.
Traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes. WIBC News Time, 3:04.
Hey, Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. And how about Ray in Indianapolis? Ray needed to move in a hurry, so he was out the door into a new house, but left with the big problem of selling his old house with 2 mortgage payments fast approaching. Heard about Mark Dietel on our show, and he was the answer. He was ecstatic when Mark sold his home for the price they needed in just 2 days on the market.
Mark Dietel is the best, and what separates him from the competition is the guarantee. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietel today, 755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. Mark, Dietel, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
With traffic on the 5s at 3:05. Good afternoon, Matt Baer.
Good afternoon, Donnie. Looking at westbound 70, that is stopped from the south split out through Harding Street because of a crash blocking the left lane. That's 29 minutes if you're going from downtown to the airport. Plan accordingly. Inbound 65 slows from MLK to Meridian Penn. North side, eastbound 465 stop and go Keystone Avenue to Allisonville. And southbound 65 stop and go before Whitestown Parkway down to the Dog Leg. Traffic sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. They run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast, brought to you by the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies throughout the day today. It is going to be a warm afternoon with highs right around that 80-degree mark. Clear and cool tonight with lows near 53. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show up next. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
Good afternoon, Indianapolis. You're listening to the Neither Hammer nor Nigel Show. Usually you'll get one or the other.
Mm-hmm. You think there are a lot of clicks going on now?
I think there's a lot of people. For gosh sake, don't turn the dial. Give us a chance.
Yes, give us a chance.
Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt sitting again and again for Hammer Nigel. We are the cast of the Merritt in the Morning podcast. Jim also is on with Rob and Casey once a week. I am on just for I'm not even sure when or why I'm on, but I'm here. Jim,
you have something to offer, Klopp. There's no question about it.
I'm sure I do. My mom says that I'm special every day. So Jim was a state senator for 30 years.
I was.
I run the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce, ran for lieutenant governor as a libertarian 12 years ago with Rupert.
With Rupert.
I am trying to challenge for the celebrity on that. I will never get there.
Well, people are fearful of running for office these days because the exposure. Number one.
Because you get mocked and ridiculed.
Yeah, and a large percentage of us don't vote. And I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote this Saturday.
Okay,
in Noblesville, and I encourage everybody to get out and vote. Republicans, Klopp, save it until Election Day, November 5th. We can't do that. We've got to vote in October, and you never know what's going to happen. And vote early, no question about it.
So now I've always thought, and I'm not exactly sure how this works, but as you get older, I would think that it would behoove you to vote early on the outside chance that your demise comes prior to the election.
Either that or you forget.
or you forget. Well, if you're forgetting that it's election day, maybe you should not be voting.
It's very good to vote when you can vote early.
Yes. So, yeah. It's
and
convenient.
I don't say early and often because that's not the
right. Exactly. It's not really election day anymore. It's election month.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So
it's a beautiful day on Monument Circle.
It is a beautiful day on Monument Circle. We have a great view. Producer Allison would not let us hold the show outside.
Darn it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So, producer Allison, can you hit the sounder?
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
All right, Jim. I think you're familiar with this game.
I am.
Here's what we're going to do. We have a series of topics. I am going to read them to you. You are going to discuss the pros and cons, and then we're going to decide, is this anything?
Okay.
So topic number 1, Purdue University has announced that Mackey Arena is sold out for every home game for this entire season, the 2024-2025 season. Obviously, Purdue coming in on the heels of their national championship runner-up.
Of which you are a big fan.
I am a big fan. I got to go to that.
And you're a fan of the football team too, right?
Yes, I am a fan of the football team. They're making it very hard to be a fan of the football team. They are not announcing sellouts for that team.
And IU football this week or next weekend's all sold out for Nebraska.
Yeah, and you're an IU season ticket holder.
I am.
We have not really had the knockdown, drag-out fights that you should have between an IU fan and a Purdue fan.
I don't do that.
No, you actually, it is not in your nature.
No.
And typically, either they are both bad or one is good and one is bad, and it's not really all that fun to fight.
No, it isn't. But referring to Coach Painter's team.
Yes.
And the sellouts. It's just, he is a top coach, a top basketball coach. And it's typical Purdue style where they just kind of, it's central casting. They've got 7 or 8 guys that are 7'4".
Yeah, exactly. I think Matt Painter has proven that he can coach big guys.
You
and
kind
they
of
can
wonder,
make it to the
they
NBA.
say, we've got this big mattress, and you could just sub in. And they just have a history of incredibly tall, big pivot men, and I think they're going to have an outstanding season. They may win the Big Ten again.
Yeah.
They will be much more balanced, and yes, it is something because I think as long as Painter's there, they will sell out seasons, no question about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for certainly the foreseeable future until he retires. Now, I have always said sports in Indiana is better when both Purdue and IU are good.
Absolutely.
I mean, I used to want IU to lose every game. I have come full circle on that. I want Purdue to be first in the Big Ten and IU to be second, so that way when they get together, those games mean something.
Right, and I think with both teams, football and basketball, when they are good, it just amplifies on what goes on in the fall. And you do know that the Colts have a Braden Smith, and the Purdue basketball team have a Braden Smith.
Have they been seen together?
One's very, very big, and the other one's not so much.
Well, in comparison, the Purdue Braden Smith looks small, but I think he's still 6 or 6'1". I mean, he's my height and half my weight.
And he's going to play a big role this year. Kid from Westfield.
He is, yeah. A local kid done good.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so that is something. So moving on, Jim, do you have a landline at home?
I do not, but my parents do.
Okay. My parents do as well. So there was a study that came out that says that people that have landlines, they are more likely to live in the Northeast. They are less likely to smoke, less fond of binge drinking, although apparently they do it occasionally. They are more likely to wear seatbelts. They are more likely to exercise, and they're also more likely to carry health insurance.
Well, my parents, other than living in the Northeast, they fit that bill. I think a lot of times it's an insurance policy. It's a tether to the world,
right?
And good on people that keep those open because a lot of time, and you got to understand our parents, and we know Mother Klopp.
Exactly.
Klopp, Brad's mom.
Yes,
I'm sure she has one, and if not. But she grew up on a farm in Benton County, and there are 2 or 3 people that went to her high school, and my parents, there were lines that were shared when they were growing up, and so you go with what you know.
Right. So when was the last time you had a landline?
Long time ago. Yeah, probably 10 years ago.
I think I had one like 15 years ago, and the only reason I had it was because I got a discount on my cable. It was part of a bundle, so I didn't even have it didn't ever ring because all I was getting was just telemarketers, but I did have an answering machine on it, and one day I walked through the room where it was, and the light was flashing, and it was like some reporter from the AP wanted to get my comments on something or another.
So you stomp on it?
I did not. I returned his call, and then I promptly disconnected my phone line.
Well, so good on the people for the landline, because it's just a tether to the world and good insurance policy.
So how long do you think it'll be before they get rid of landlines altogether?
I'd say probably, they've been trying for a long time. And I would imagine they're on the way out in the next 10 years.
Okay. So is that anything?
Yeah, I think it is something, because you've really depicted what individuals are, responsible individuals who have insurance, who wear seatbelts, and that individual. When I can't get a hold of my dad on his cell phone, I call the landline.
Okay. Now, all those things we just listed, isn't that just a factor of being old?
Well, yeah. I hope Jim Merritt Sr.'s not hearing this.
Well, you said he does listen.
He's 91.
Yeah. So, all right. Our last one. This is Dateline Detroit. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer raised eyebrows on Thursday over a bizarre video in which she fed Doritos into the mouth of a liberal podcaster, which some said was a stunt that imitated the Catholic sacrament of Holy Communion.
You know the term "know the room."
Yes.
Well, no society. When the Olympics was opened, and that demonstration that ended up looking like the Last Supper, terrifically offended so many people, and I just don't understand why people, the Dorito and the Catholic faith, and why you would take the chance to offend a large group of people and one person, and so it's offensive. I don't care what they were trying to depict and show, but it's defensive to everyone. I'm a Protestant, but I'm offended.
So now I'm going to use a phrase that I once heard when I was in college, when my buddy's dad came to Purdue to visit and was asking about the girls that he'd been dating. And we pointed to one of the girls he'd been dating. And this guy's dad just sat up and said, "For God's sake, son, have some pride in yourself." I want to say that to Governor Whitmer.
Say that to the people of Michigan.
Yeah, the entire state of Michigan. Yeah. Boy, just have some pride in yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's take a look at the roads with Matt Bear.
All right, look at a westbound 70 crash coming out of downtown on the west side. It's at Harding Street, blocking. Right now, it is blocking 2 left lanes, causing stop traffic through the south split all the way to Washington Street. Delay time from the south split to Harding is 27 minutes. Also, looking at northbound 65 after Raymond, that is a crash, and it's on the right shoulder, causing a little bit of a slowdown. Inbound 65, stop and go, 21st to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
75 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $69 a month for 24 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 10/27/24. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New 300 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Reach your fitness goals in 2024 with the 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Afternoon, Indianapolis. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt, sitting in for Hammer and Nigel. We were here yesterday.
We were.
We're here today.
Can you believe it?
They had us back. That's a good sign.
We'll be back Monday, maybe.
We're supposed to be here Monday.
Yeah.
And as long as we
just
don't
when the execs are there, just slip by their office. Don't say hello.
Just fly under the radar.
Yeah.
I know that's the Rob Kindle strategy of the less they notice me, the more likely it is I'll be back tomorrow. So now, for those of you who know Jim, really the biggest problem with doing the show, and the biggest hazard is Jim likes to drop F-bombs like he's a construction worker. No,
what's an F-bomb?
I've never exactly. That's just it. Jim has never uttered a dirty word in his life.
Expletives are not I don't
know how you properly express yourself without those words, Jim.
It's a beautiful day on Monument Circle,
it
Indianapolis,
is.
Indiana.
So, hey, we have our Florida correspondent, Paul Lucian, is joining us from Florida. He's on the Merritt in the Morning hotline. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing quite well, Brad. Quite a title there, correspondent.
You are a correspondent. I mean, we could call you an expert now. You've been through 2 hurricanes in 2 weeks, so.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes.
So where are you right now?
We're in Sarasota. I think my wife and I are hurricane magnets. And I don't want to make light and make fun of ourselves, but because 17 people died in this last hurricane and numerous others in the other hurricane, we can't. There's no way we should overshadow those losses. It's tragic. But on the lighter side, when we came down for Ian, we did not come down for Ian. We're sitting on the airplane, and just a common everyday conversation, the person sitting next to me, are you going home? Are you going on vacation? I said, no, we have a second home in Florida. Oh, are you ready for the hurricane? What hurricane? Well, that hurricane ended up being Ian. And so my wife and I last week went to Charleston for 2 or 3 days, and then came to Florida. And we're cleaning up from Helene in our yard. And the neighbor said, so you ready for the next hurricane? Well, what hurricane? Milton. So our head's been in the clouds. We're not very good at staying in tune with Florida weather, I don't think.
Well, you are a Carmel resident, so I can see where you're oblivious to the rest of the world.
Paul, my fellow Carmel resident, is Jim Merritt.
Hey, Jim.
I was just kind of curious. It looked like Bradenton got the bulk of this. Is St. Armand Circle there, and Euphemia Hay, the restaurant on Longboat Key, and how's the area?
Well, I don't think anybody went unscathed. If it wasn't a shingle and it was going to be a tree or landscaping, it's terrible. It's just
standing water, debris.
Well, the standing water is subsiding, and granted, we're not trying to be tourists and just looking at devastation and trying to stay out of the way of first responders and people that are in recovery. But it's you see the devastation everywhere, and what is really touching is when you see couches and refrigerators and things that are heirloomable stuff, probably on the curb, just waiting to be dismantled and going into a landfill and just discarded like it has no value. But yet, a week ago, it had great value. It had intrinsic value.
And this is the second gut punch with Helene and Milton, and also Sanibel Island and Captiva got it in the chops as well. And but you know, when you see this on television and you see reports, the human spirit is quite alive in these communities. And Governor DeSantis and everybody in Florida were prepared for this, and you probably see some of that right now.
Well, Governor DeSantis is awesome, and I don't mean that from a political perspective, but just in regards to a logistical genius and operational talent that he has to coordinate everything. He's just awesome, and I'm just amazed. And let's just leapfrog over DeSantis. We've all seen his work unfold, but in regards to the human spirit, I agree with you. It is every neighbor pitches in, and so people in Indiana do the same thing. You know, be it a blizzard or a tornado or just straight line winds, we're there for one another. But in Florida, there's just a different grit here, meaning the everyday Floridian, this is like every day. There was not a run on the grocery stores. We did not have problem getting gas. And people were polite. They weren't cutting off in line like to get the last roll of toilet paper. So there's just a difference in their urgency. So maybe I don't know if that's the right word or not. And then we also are finding some trends, and that is you have when power is out, people will have generators. They have charging parties, and everybody's showing up to their house to charge their phones. And then when the internet's down, Publix has a generator, and everybody hangs out in front of Publix to get their Wi-Fi. So just little nuances I find interesting.
So, well, Paul, thank you very much for calling in. I'm glad that you've fared fairly well. Sounds like the area, it could have been worse. So
yeah, it could. The backside was tough. The backside was very tough. But I will tell you that the eye of the storm was so surreal and eerie, and that was kind of worth the hurricane experience. Just that being in the eye of the storm for 45 minutes was just amazing.
Wow. So, well, Paul, thank you very much for giving us a little bit of your time. I'm looking forward to catching you when you come back up north and hearing more about this.
Well, we'll be there Sunday. Jim and Brad, thanks very much, and you guys have a great day.
All right, you too. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No,
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and Shocks and Struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
18 years ago, Tom and Sarah Joyner started Joyner Homes in Greenfield, and to date, they've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. The homes they build are different than the cookie-cutter houses you see today. They build homes that have the character like the homes of yesterday, but have modern features, character-rich features, exposed wood beams, stone fireplaces, custom build-ins, and smart design. Building a new home doesn't have to be a headache. Joyner Homes will build you a truly unique, beautiful home. Visit JoynerHomes.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Tougher than expected. Clear radar, 76 degrees. Chilly tonight with a low of 54. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 3:31. The strength of American-built roads was on full display this week in Florida. Hurricane Helene and Milton hit the Sunshine State back-to-back, and the concrete didn't give way.
We saw this storm bearing down, and we're like, well, we're going to have to fix it again. Turns out the emergency repairs held. The road's fine.
Governor Ron DeSantis talking to reporters Friday. Indiana Task Force 1 and National Guardsmen are still on the ground assisting with rescue, recovery, and cleanup. The cost to rebuild from Milton could cost $50 billion, says President Biden.
We're going to be going to the Congress. We're going to need a lot of help. We're going to need a lot more money.
The president says he spoke to leaders of utility and power companies and says they are searching resources to get electricity restored. But the president says there must be more investments to harden the grid. President Biden will visit Florida on Sunday. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
An Indianapolis police officer facing state charges now has federal charges. Indy Metro Police Sergeant Javid Richards was indicted on state charges for child exploitation and possessing child porn. A federal grand jury has now indicted him on 5 counts of distributing child sexual abuse material. He pled not guilty in court Thursday. The city of South Bend is being sued by the Department of Justice. Sasha Nixon reports the city's police department has been accused of discrimination.
The DOJ says the city of South Bend has been violating Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Essentially, the organization believes that the SBPD's written exam has discriminated against black applicants, and its physical exam has discriminated against female applicants since at least 2016. So the DOJ's lawsuit hopes to address this, in part by requiring the city to use only lawful tests in its hiring process. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You can have some Halloween fun tonight at the Indiana State Museum's Night at the Boo Bash, which is open to all ages.
We're open from 6 to 8 p.m. with Night at the Boo Bash activities on all 3 floors of the Indiana State Museum.
That's Carla Knapp talking to WIBC's Terry Stacy. You can find more info at indianamuseum.org. WIBC News Time, 3:33, traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indie. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indie, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indie, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndie.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndie.com. and grow your hair back today.
With a look at traffic, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Donnie, crash clear west to side, westbound 70 Harding Street still. Stop and go back into the south split. Front of the line is moving. And then, however, southbound 6570 jammed up to the north split and backed up to 21st Street on southbound 65. Looking at southbound 465 on the east side, slow 70 down to Brookville Road. Crash northbound 65 after Raymond Street. That crash has cleared. Looking at inbound 69, stop and go 106 282nd at eastbound 465. Stop and go from Westfield Boulevard to Allisonville Road. Traffic sponsored by B Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door plus 2.99% financing. B Window, proud to be employee owned. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast, brought to you by the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies throughout the day today. It is going to be a warm afternoon with highs right around that 80-degree mark. Clear and cool tonight with lows near 53. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
Thank you, Tara. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt. We are 100% of the show, Merritt in the Morning podcast. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. We are sitting in for Hammer and Nigel. They are both on vacation at the same time for once. So we're here.
And we hope they're having a lot of fun.
I know Hammer, I think, was going to the panhandle of Florida.
Yes.
I'm not sure where Nigel went. Probably went somewhere exotic or went to tour distillery or something. So, Jim, did you know Saturday is National Farmer Day?
Not until you told me.
Okay, well, it's a big day, and joining us on the line, agricultural economist Damian Mason from Huntington, Indiana. Damian is famous, professional speaker, been doing it for a long time, and a guy that I've known since college. So welcome, Damian.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. So tell us a little bit about National Farmer Day.
National Farmer Day. Well, I got to be honest with you. Now we've gotten to the point where every day is puppy day. It's throw out your old underwear day. So I don't even know how old National Farmers Day is. It doesn't coincide with National Ag Day. Ag Day always happens in the spring of the year to commemorate the world's most important industry and our contribution here in the United States. So to be honest with you, I just found out the other day that tomorrow is National Farmers Day, but it's a good day nonetheless. We're an agricultural state here, as we're known in Indiana, one of the I states that a lot of crop reports. Granted, we're the third of the three, meaning Iowa and Illinois produce more than we do, but they're also larger states. But nonetheless, agriculture is very important here in the state of Indiana, and I think National Farmers Day is a good time to talk about the world's most important industry.
Well, Damon, we do make and we do grow in Indiana, and I'm really glad that Klopp focused in on this today. And one thing that I was at the grocery this morning, and the prices are so high, and I did a little research, and it's incredible what the cost of fuel does to grocery prices. And I'm sure farmers are lamenting that, hating that, whatever, are fearful of that on a daily basis.
Yeah, so we all know, all of us eat, and we don't have people who shop for us like the upper 1/10 of 1%. What we're doing at the grocery store, and of course, I think the good news is farmers don't take the blame on this, and the ag industry. There's more dollars worth of energy in your box of Wheaties than there is wheat, right? I mean, there's probably about a dime to 20 cents worth of grain in any box of cereal, for instance, and you're paying, $5 for it. So it's a lot of packaging, it's a lot of handling and more handling and more handling. So one of the things I tell my agricultural audiences, Jim, is there's two foundations of a thriving, advanced economy, and that is affordable and abundant and reliable energy and affordable, abundant, and reliable food. And unfortunately, we've certainly done so on food, but the problem is there's energy cooked into food. So until we get real about the energy situation, there's going to be inflationary pressure. It's not because of supply. Trust me, we're killing it out here on production ag.
So, Damian, let me ask you that. You mentioned energy, and that does morph into ag simply because a vast majority of the corn that's raised goes into ethanol. How important is ethanol to agriculture and vice versa?
Critically important and I know that there's going to be some folks listening that say, yeah, well, that's sort of bastardized demand. It was propped up by the Renewable Fuels Act of 2004, came into being and enacted then in 2005. And then we have this proliferation of ethanol plants. Indiana has a ton of them. I mean, there's 3 within 30 miles of my farm here in Indiana. So Ethanol burned up almost 40% of the corn crop last year. It's going to be a little less than that this year. So more than a third, as much as 40% of the corn crop. Now, it doesn't go there and die. It goes there. The starches are taken out and made into alcohol, which becomes ethanol, which is ethanol, of course, and then gets blended in for your gas tank. The dried distiller grains, meaning the protein aspect of the corn, comes back out as a byproduct and goes into livestock rations. So beef and dairy animals eat the part that doesn't go in your gas tank. Last year, about 11% of every gallon that you put into your car was ethanol. Now, you could buy non-ethanol stuff, but in general, meaning the American gasoline consumption, 11% of what was in the gas tank was derived from ethanol. So it's good for the demand of this vast supply that we create in corn. And I just had on my Business of Agriculture podcast last couple weeks ago the CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association. And, of course, he thinks that we're probably in a really good situation because there's talk now about doing some refining to the ethanol and making it into sustainable aviation fuel. And places like Europe are all about using sustainable aviation fuel. So we couldn't use enough of our we couldn't make enough ethanol if the jets really started burning it. So that might be the next frontier for ethanol.
You know, Damon, we conversations about politics and government always includes China. And how does our relationship with China, with trade, and that I think that relationship is tense now. China is growing throughout the world and in different places. And so America does have a little difficult relationship with China today. How does that affect our farmer and our farmers?
It's going to have a pretty it's going to have I'm not going to say detrimental. I'm not going to say anything too negative, but we have gotten ramped up because of China. Really, if you look at these massive gains in productivity and yield, it came about coinciding exactly. You can overlay the graph with the rise of China. So let's call the rise of China as in the last 20 years. Since that time, we have increased our soybean production by 50% in the United States, corn 50%, pork 50%. Now, I could be off. It could be 47, 51. But the point is, roughly, imagine half again, 50% roughly increase in the last 20 or so years. Go back to Y2K, and you're talking about a lot less. We did that because 1.4 billion Chinese went through this incredible economic growth pattern. And the first thing people do when they start making more money is they eat better. So they switch from, rice with no protein to rice with pork chops, etc. The American agricultural complex is all about productivity. Look what we did during World War II. Look what we've done throughout time. Make more food, make more food. We're good at it. So we did it with this customer in mind. Well, China is not going to double their caloric intake in the next 20 years as they did in the previous 20. I mean, you're talking about an entire 1.4 billion country that almost doubled its caloric intake and ate higher on the hog, so to speak. That's not going to happen again. In fact, China's got some real problems. Their economy is teetering. There's 91 million empty residential units in China sitting right now. They're at an absolute property bubble. They've over-infrastructured. And what's happening, the Chinese Communist Party is doubling down on its control and its aggressiveness. It's the thing like they're going to threaten to take over Taiwan. Well, if there is more of that saber rattling, it's very likely that they continue to decline as an agricultural customer, and that's what's happening. China's going to buy considerably less this year than they did last year, than they did the year before. At one point in 2022, they were almost 1/5 of all of our agricultural exports. They were 18-point-some%. So almost 1/5 of everything we make went to China 2 years ago. It's going to be down to single-digit percentages. China is less of an ag customer now than Mexico.
Damien, I want to pause you for just a second. You can appreciate this. We actually have to do some business. Can you hang on? I want to talk to you a little bit more about this, water. And this will be Jim's opportunity for him to ask you about a young Klopp prior to me being a highly respected member of society.
I'll be right here.
All right. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
When is the optimal time to file for Social Security? You know, it's not just about a specific age. This decision could needlessly trigger higher taxes on your benefits and higher taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals. You could even double your Medicare premiums. So if you don't consider all of these things, it could literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We know and trust Bill, and you can too. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This is the one tool that could help you get the most income from Social Security, and it won't cost you a dime, even if you're not a client. Call 317-932-9912. That's Bill Demery at 317-932-9912.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Oh, man, we're turning back time. The Turn Back the Time sale right now. Thompson Furniture Mattress in Columbus. Sale prices back to pre-pandemic prices. Sale ends Monday, October 14th. No other store is going to come close to these prices. Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, Bassett, and mattresses from Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster. Free financing available.
Awesome Hoosier-owned family business, and they still have free delivery if you live within 75 miles. Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Based on the last 17 years, we feel like American Standard is the best in the market.
That's Chris Wedekin, owner of Absolute Comfort, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Matt Bear, the road's looking better than yesterday?
Yeah, I suppose for now. Westbound 70 crash going into the north split. The ramp is open, but it is partially blocked. That's westbound 70 on the flyover to downtown to Meridian Penn. Again, crash on the ramp. It is open, partially blocked. Inbound 65 slow. MLK to Meridian Penn. That's 13 minutes on the delay. West side southbound 465 stop and go from Crawfordsville Road down to Sam Jones Expressway work zone until early Monday morning. East side southbound 465 stop and go before 70 down to south at Shadeland Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Matt Bear's the best traffic guy in the business. 75 degrees.
What would we do?
75 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
It's actually the neither Hammer nor Nigel show. It's Jim Merritt across the desk from me. He was a 30-year state senator. Talk about a highly respected member of society. I am Brad Klopfenstein. I'm just some dude that lives in Lawrence. Joining us on the phone, agricultural economist Damian Mason from Huntington, Indiana, this time of year, from Scottsdale, Arizona, the other half of the year. So, Damian, obviously, you know a ton about agriculture. You talk all over the country, really all over the world, about agricultural issues to various groups. Let's tell our audience a little bit. How did you get your start, and how did you end up here?
It celebrated my 30th year. I'm in my 31st year now. Brad Klopfenstein was there every inch of the way. So graduated from Purdue in agricultural economics degree in 1992, worked in corporate for a little less than 2 years, quit my job to be a political comedian. There was a time when you could actually still be comedically funny and corporations would hire you. I can't imagine that day as today because of the sensitivities and the wokeness. Then morphed from being a political comedian, which is interesting. Everybody remembers the political comedy days, Brad. And I say, yeah, you realize that I've been doing the ag thing like twice as long as I ever was a political comedy guy. So morphed into being an agricultural guy who was funny and now doing more and more about issues and whatnot, but I deliver everything funny. You know, the professors come in with lots of graphs and charts that they have their unpaid assistants put together, and I come in with no charts or graphs and talk about big item agricultural issues and then keep it funny.
That's good. So, Damian, I want to talk to, or at least ask you a little bit. Water has suddenly become a big issue in Indiana, which is ironic because I think you're tiling your field today, trying to get rid of water. But how big of an issue is water going to be in Indiana? I think we all know that it's an issue around the country, especially out west.
Yeah, so agriculture is going to continue to get squeezed on this. In fact, I just recorded an episode of my Business of Agriculture podcast with a subsurface drip irrigation and technology company because that's where a lot of this is going to go. If you're going to be in a place that needs irrigated crops, and that obviously would be places like California or Southwest where you can grow specialty crops that end up in the produce section of your grocery store, even in Indiana, they're going to use water a lot more efficiently through meters and moisture sensors. Do we really need to be putting the water out there? What's the moisture like down at the root level, 9 inches down? And they're going to get better about it. That's happening. In fact, there are some companies putting up money to accentuate that. You know, Google, for instance, is throwing grant money out there, if you will, to do that. We're not going to have ag water disputes in Indiana very likely because we still get around 40 inches of annual precipitation. Once you get past the Mississippi River going west, I think the water fights for agricultural purposes anyway, and water versus industry. These servers now, and as you know, with this artificial intelligence, you're talking about companies like Microsoft opening their own nuclear power plants, which is rather funny because many of the people that live in the in the left coast would have said they oppose nuclear, but if it's nuclear to power your Chat GPT, well, then it seems like it's acceptable. But that's where we're going to have battles because water is going to industry for things like the cooling of these servers and whatnot. Water is going to be a problem. I don't see long-term problems. I know there was something over in the Lebanon area, fights over water. That's very localized. I don't see that being an issue. I don't see water ever being fought over. In fact, Indiana's agricultural land is very likely going to hold up in value much better than some of the run-up in places like western Kansas where they're getting 9 inches of annual precipitation.
Well, Damian, I'm really glad we're talking about this because water is something I've concentrated on for a long time. in the way of an issue. And but one of the ideas that I've had is, and what I've observed is that we have plenty of water. We just don't know where it is.
So, Damien, we've only got about 15 seconds.
I don't know if that's an issue here. I'd say that if that's occurring, it's more like where there's aquifers that have been depleted. I don't think it's a problem in the Midwest. The short story there. I think that we're still going to be okay. Any water fights here are going to be very regional, very localized, I should say.
Right. Damien, thank you very much for joining us on the Hammer and Nigel show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome, Jim. We're 1 hour in.
Oh.
Or less.
Nobody's knocking at the door.
No, exactly. This is the Hammer and Nigel show.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary. Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, your premier gun store. Over 1,200 firearms in stock and the largest selection of used firearms in the area. Premier Arms is home of the buy room. This exclusive, private, and secure room is where Premier Arms will buy your estate or special collection of firearms and jewelry. Premier Arms and PA Jewelers, their one-of-a-kind jewelry store located in the same building, are the largest buyers of firearms, firearm collections, and estate jewelry in the Midwest. Talk to Premier Arms today, 3754 South Green Street, online at premierarms.com.
I just wish Mom could hear better on the phone.
Dad gets so upset with me when I call. I wish it were different.
The CapTel caption phone from Relay, Indiana allows you to speak into the phone and your words appear on a bright, easy-to-read screen. Conversations occur naturally with added clarity.
I used to love our phone chats. I wish it was like before.
Now it can be with the CapTel caption phone. Go to RelayIndiana.com and call 334-1413 today.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I love my Window Nation windows. They look great on my house. Window Nation's 96% customer satisfaction rating, the highest in their industry.
And Window Nation's energy-efficient windows can save you up to 40% on your energy bill. I know because I'm a customer and I've seen it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows for free, plus pay nothing, no interest for 2 years. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, an Indianapolis police officer is facing more charges. Ryan Hedrick has what you need to know. It's going to feel like actual fall next week. And how a stolen car led to a police chase. Jake McDaniel has what you need to know about that story from the Technology Recycler Studios. I'm Donnie Burgess. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's now 4 o'clock, time for Fox News Radio at the top of the hour.
25 days to Election Day. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Very simply, we're going to make America great again.
Former President Trump is in Aurora, Colorado, a city he has called a war zone after video footage of suspected Venezuelan gang members armed in the hallways of an apartment building. Trump proposing a new program using federal resources to detain and deport any illegal immigrants who are part of the gang Tren de Aragua. Aurora's Republican mayor has said the city has not been overrun by gang members. Vice President Kamala Harris says powerful forces are trying to divide Americans.
There's this kind of backward thinking coming from some folks that suggests that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of what we know, which is the real measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. That's strength.
In Arizona, a short time ago, repeating a pledge to put a Republican in her cabinet if she wins the election. Earlier, Harris joining a White House hurricane briefing remotely as President Biden called for strengthening the electric grid.
The cost to rebuild from Hurricane Milton's path of destruction across Florida could total $50 billion, President Biden says.
We're going to be going to the Congress. We're going to need a lot of help. We're going to need a lot more money.
The president says he spoke to leaders of utility and power companies and says they are surging resources to get electricity restored. But the president says there must be more investments to harden the grid.
By incorporating innovative technologies like burying transmission lines underground, replacing wood power poles with concrete power poles that don't snap in the wind.
President Biden will visit Florida on Sunday.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A record day on Wall Street. The Dow up 409 points at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Legal trouble for a man of the law. Clear skies, 77 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 4:02. A 5-count federal indictment released Friday adds to the legal troubles for an Indianapolis police officer. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Prosecutors say suspended IMPD Sergeant Javed Richards shared child sex abuse material from his iCloud account. Richards is already dealing with a state case, which he was arrested for months ago. He worked in internal affairs, which means that he was involved in criminal cases involving other cops. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey has recommended firing Richards, but that's a process. 3 other Indianapolis cops are also facing child sex cases. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You can expect cool, dry weather next week.
We're going to be dry really again through much of the week. Just very small rain chances across the northern portions of the state.
Highs will be in the 50s Monday and Tuesday, says meteorologist Andrew White with the National Weather Service. A stolen car led to a police chase. Jake McDaniel has what you need to know.
Lebanon police chased after 28-year-old Christian Brown after he stole a car at an apartment complex northbound of Lebanon Street. Brown hit many cars, including police cars. He was then stopped by police near the State Road 32 and I-65 overpass. He refused to exit the car and was taken to Boone County Jail. He now faces charges of auto theft, resisting law enforcement, reckless driving, and battery on law enforcement. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indianapolis Colts will be without star running back Jonathan Taylor once again this Sunday when they take on the Titans in Tennessee. The Colts are 2-3. A woman living in a shelter with her 4 children received a car during a ceremony in Indianapolis Thursday.
It means security. It means a lot. I'm speechless.
Susanna Manuel says she's thankful for the National Auto Body Council Recycled Rides program. She hopes to get her GED and land a higher-paying job. WIBC News Time, 4:04.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like your neighbor Brett.
We did Galaxy for the sidewalks and also the porch. The porch had a few pits. Galaxy said that was no problem.
Home or business, Galaxy Concrete Coatings got you covered.
Obviously, with the front sidewalk and step, so we didn't worry about any kind of slipping. You know, you're concerned about that after rain. And then when it did dry, it didn't spot, it didn't stain. It was just like it had been done yesterday.
Lots who styles to choose from, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and a 15-year warranty.
It's one thing that my wife commented on was how easy the Galaxy coating swept versus just the bare concrete.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
We moved here recently. I didn't even think twice about calling anyone else but Galaxy to come do this house.
With traffic on the 5s at 405, here's Matt Baer.
Yeah, Donnie, looking at a crash westbound 70 to the north split. The exit ramp to northbound 65 ramp is open. It is partially blocked. Looking at inbound 65, stop and go traffic from MLK to Meridian Penn. West side, southbound 465, stop and go from 74 all the way down to Sam Jones Expressway. A work zone part of that delay, and that work zone should be done early Monday morning. Inbound 69, stop and go 106th Street to 82nd. Eastbound 70 slows at west. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies throughout the day today. It is going to be a warm afternoon with highs right around that 80-degree mark. Clear and cool tonight with lows near 53. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show up next. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Afternoon, Indianapolis. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt sitting across the desk from me. Jim, put that smile on your face. It is Friday afternoon.
I'm smiling.
We are having a great time. I know you are. Or maybe you're just pouting because you don't have tequila in front of you, which is coming. Beer Sample Friday is coming up. And
it's a beautiful day on Monument Circle.
We need our listeners, especially the ones in the YouTube chat. We need a little peer pressure for Jim to do a beer bong or at least a shot.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So, Jim, I don't know if you noticed last night, we had the Northern Lights.
Yes.
Were visible from central Indiana. So joining us on the Merritt in the Morning hotline, we have Mike Newberg from Grand Universe up in Westfield. Mike, how are you?
Hey, guys. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'll tell you, we that eclipse with Grand Universe and working with the city of Westfield, that was quite the production. And we wanted to talk to you today a little bit about the Northern Lights and also a little bit about how the building of Grand Universe is going up in Westfield.
Sure.
Tell everybody, you see on Facebook and all the different social media sites these beautiful colors in the sky last night. And give your impression, Mike.
Well, the sun is constantly active. It's throwing out flares and highly charged particles all the time, and occasionally those particles hit the Earth, right in the bullseye. And so those particles impact the sun's magnetic field, and they direct them toward the northern and southern poles. And the glowing you see are the chemical components in the Earth's atmosphere. The reds, the greens, those are caused by oxygen. Some blues and purples, those are caused by the nitrogen in the atmosphere. It's almost like how a neon light works. The gas gets excited, and in order to return to its steady state, it has to release energy in the form of light. So we're basically looking at a big neon light show up in the sky, and
rainbow.
I tell you, there's nothing like it. Almost like the eclipse we just had, but it's pretty spectacular.
So now, Mike, I live in Lawrence out at Fort Harrison, and I was pleasantly surprised we could actually see the colors from our porch. Now, obviously, the people that have taken pictures, there's some vibrant colors that are in the photos, and I took some photos, and I think that has to do with the aperture. But how rare is it for the naked eye to be able to pick up those colors here in central Indiana?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 1 in a million, but it does not happen very often. Just the amount of light pollution that we have these days, it's the astronomer's mortal enemy. I mean, we love dark skies, and so to see the aurora from an urban setting, is quite spectacular.
Now, were you out for that last night?
I was actually in Park County, of all places, one of the darkest spots in the state of Indiana. So I just was lucky enough, and I looked, and there it was, this beautiful red glow. And, of course, I did what everybody else did. I grabbed my iPhone and turned on the night settings and got some pretty good pictures.
Well, I was at the Lifeline Law fundraiser, so I'm raising awareness for the Lifeline Law, so I wasn't able to see it. Tell us what is going on at Grand Universe right now.
Well, right now, Grand Universe, we are in the midst of our capital fundraising campaign. This is a huge development. This is going to be one of the biggest developments in the history of Hamilton County. Grand Universe was going to be a multi-million-dollar center for astronomy and space exploration. We're going to be reaching out to kids all over. We're going to be located in Westfield, but our mission is to every child that walks through our doors. So right now, as I said, we're in the middle of our capital fundraising campaign. It's a big event. It's a big commitment, but we believe we are coming to the end of it, and hopefully we might be able to make some announcements here in the next month or so. This is a big deal. You got to get lawyers and CPAs involved, and anybody who's worked with them knows nothing happens quickly with them, but we're being patient. Everything is moving along. Everything is good. I just spoke to Greg McCauley, our CEO.
Give her our best.
Yes, he is doing well. He's a little under the weather right now, but he's feeling fine. But no, he gave me some good news today. He said everything is on track. So once all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, hopefully we'll be able to start some things rolling here in the next couple of months. But in addition to Grand Universe, we're going to have a world-class space-themed resort. And this is not just any hotel. This is a place where you can go and engage in science and STEM activities while you're staying on site. It's going to be a place where you actually to enjoy the Westfield city, because this is desperately needed in the city right now.
So I don't think a lot of our listeners know what this is, how big this is going to be. So you're going to be next to Grand Park, correct?
Yes, we're literally on the other side of the Monon Trail from Grand Park. We actually own the land. We own 78 acres right up there, just across from Grand Park. We own the land. Our name is on the deed. I've checked it out. So we're good there. So that really helps with funders and things.
Oh, absolutely.
They like to know you have some skin in the game. But
sure.
Yes, we're going to be right there in the heart of the sixth fastest growing city in the nation. This is something Westfield has needed. They want something more than just Grand Park. They want to keep people there in the city. And so I think it's a match made in heaven. And like I said, even though we're going to be located in Westfield, we're going to be reaching out to every child in the state of Indiana, because we don't have anything like this anywhere in the state. And it's a shame that we don't. But that's going to change here in a couple of years.
Anything in the state? I mean, by the sounds of this is going to be something that might be unique to the nation or the Midwest, certainly.
Yes, we're talking to centers all over the nation. We want to be world class. We've got basically what I tell people, we have a blank canvas. We've got an empty patch of land up there. This is not a 100-year-old building that we have to retrofit or things that we have to tear down to build anew. This is brand new. We're literally starting from the ground up. So we're going to be focused on the future. We're going to be focused on the here and now. We're not going to be so much a museum, because that typically brings up images of the past. We're going to honor the past, of course, but we are going to be focused on the here and now, what's coming just beyond the horizon in the next 10 to 20 years, because there is so much happening, so much changing, and the kids that are 4 or 5 years old today are going to be the teenagers in the next few years, and they're going to be the leaders of tomorrow. We want to make sure we are speaking their language. So, yes, we are swinging for the fences with Grand Universe.
So how interactive is this going to be?
Oh, very interactive. We're talking to a company in Cincinnati that builds world-class exhibits. They have done exhibits all over the world, all over the nation, and we have had meetings with them. We want to have a wide variety, because everybody learns at a different pace. Some people are visual learners like me. Some people are hands-on. Some people are readers. We want to make sure we are catering to all those different styles of learning. So we're going to have a wide variety of exhibits regarding the solar system, the sun, the moon, deep space exploration. Is there life elsewhere? What does it look like? And so we want to find the best ways of engaging with the kids that really help them learn. So we're going to be looking at everything. There's nothing that's off the table.
Well, I'm so glad you're approaching it in so many different angles with education. In 5th grade, my mom didn't know how I was going to learn.
I hear you. A lot of people do. Yep.
It sounds like this could be an episode of the X-Files.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to be very evidence-based. I love the X-Files, but we're all about keeping everything on the level there.
Mike,
so,
thank you for springing forward today.
Yep,
well, thank you for having me on, gentlemen.
All right, Mike Newberg from Grand Universe. Now let's take a look at the roads with Matt Bear.
All right, crash westbound 70 at the North Plate. It's on the exit ramp. That ramp is open, but it is partially blocked. Looking at the east side, southbound 465 slows from 70 down to south at Shadeland Avenue. Inbound 65 stop and go before MLK to Meridian Penn. West side, southbound 465 stop and go traffic from Crawfordsville Road down to Sam Jones Expressway. Roadway reduced until 2 lanes because of construction, which should be done early Monday morning, and that includes the reopening of all those west side entrance ramps to southbound that affects us all weekend. Inbound 69 stop and go from 106th Street down to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
76 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
It's been a long slog.
Donald Trump is a disaster for working people.
This is the worst response to a hurricane ever.
Now, there are less than 4 weeks to go.
Everyone goes out and votes.
The choice is in sight.
Somebody said...
He said...
She's incompetent.
And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country.
And it's not going to get any more polite.
We cannot be stopped.
I will get caught up in the rhetoric.
We'll follow it all to the finish on your 2024 election information station, 93 WIBC.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Denny Smith here. The big fall sale at Sundown Gardens is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs, 50% off herbaceous perennials and pottery. Take advantage of great fall planting weather and save 20 to 50% on trees now at Sundown Gardens. The nursery's full of great selections and the greenhouse is bursting with great local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your needs for fall decorating. Sundown Gardens is located at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
Rampant crime, crumbling roads, unaffordable housing, open borders, and high inflation. That's Andre Carson's record after 16 years in Congress. Have you had enough yet? It's time for John Schmitz, an Indy native who's working for safe streets, an end to inflation, and a bright future for Indy. John Schmitz has the experience, creativity, and energy to tackle the issues holding back Indianapolis. Help make Schmitz happen. Vote John Schmitz for Congress. Learn more at johnschmitzforcongress.com. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message, paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matters Show. It is time for our question and answer show for October, and we have many great questions to answer this month, including a question about saving in a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA, one on how to redo a Social Security election, and another on a common misconception about Roth IRA conversions. Find out the answer to these questions and many more on the Retirement Money Matters Show, which airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter. You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Can you hear me? So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Now with 100% less Hammer and Nigel. He's Jim Merritt. I'm Brad Klopfenstein. Don't lose your mind. Hammer and Nigel will be back on Tuesday. They are on fall break. I don't think they're together. They are separately out there somewhere in the universe, but they're enjoying some much-deserved time off.
Yes.
So, Jim, you're in here. Thank you very much for taking time out of your week to do this with me.
I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
I do, too. You and I spend a lot of time together.
We do.
From the first time.
I'm a lucky guy. I'm a lucky fellow.
That is nice of you to say. Yeah. So, let's see. You and I first met in about 2006, 2007. Who would have known back then?
Well, you saved my bacon that day, you remember?
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I dropped a check.
Jim dropped a very large check that some quasi-homeless man brought back to my office a week later.
A campaign donor check.
Yes. Yeah.
Brought it to you, and you gave it to me.
I asked him, I'm like, where did you find this? He goes, it was in the middle of Pennsylvania Street. So,
boy.
So, Jim,
time ago.
I'm glad that we've recovered from that.
Yeah.
So, hey, wanted to talk to you. Do you like cars?
I love cars.
I'm a car guy as well.
Yeah, I love cars.
So, yeah.
Always have.
Yeah.
Especially new ones.
So, are you familiar with the company Stellantis?
I am.
So, Stellantis is basically what was Fiat Chrysler, before that Daimler Chrysler. So, Stellantis is now, I think they've got Fiat, Alfa Romeo. Let's see. Let me look at my
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, Citroen.
Citroen, that's a French company.
Peugeot.
Got to throw that in there. So,
Sheila's kind of laughing right now.
Oh, she is. Sheila went to the zoo today.
Did she?
She did.
Well, it's a beautiful day in Indianapolis.
So my wife actually works with children that have visual impairments.
Yes,
and
she's quite a hero.
So, yes, so one of her families was going to the zoo, so she went to observe this child to see how well the child did just kind of out running around, which I kept referring to this as Sheila's field trip today.
Wow, yeah, that's
which is a nice day to go out. So, yeah, if you're going to be working at the zoo is not a bad way to go.
Not bad.
So, anyhow. So
here.
Yes. So, Stellantis Auto Sales, which Stellantis has at least 2, if not more, factories in Kokomo. They've got the transmission plant up in Tipton.
Lots of investment in Indiana.
Yes. Thank you very much for your investment in Indiana, Stellantis.
Yes.
However, their sales are off 20%, Jim.
Well, you look at this and just think about the cost of money.
Yes.
Going out and getting a loan to pay for a car. The cost of fuel is quite large, as we know. It's just jumped, and all these companies have so much pressure on them for electric vehicles. And as I understand it, Ford has gotten rid of their truck. their pickup truck, their electric.
They've halted production on it because they had a glut.
Yes, and I think that's happening with a lot of these, including Peugeot.
Yes, well, I'm
like
not even
saying
sure you
Peugeot.
can buy a Peugeot in North America.
That's funny to say. Peugeot.
However, I mean, yeah, so they've got Jeeps in particular, Rams in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bought a pickup truck in 2016, and now I'm going to sound like some old geezer, but I think I paid $40,000 or $42,000 for that truck.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to buy that same truck today, it's going to be like $70,000 or $75,000.
Yeah,
which is
we
nuts.
didn't even talk about the growth and price. And as we know, the price of a car just really declines when you drive it off the lot.
Oh, it does.
Mm-hmm.
They also make Jeeps. So you've got the Jeep Wranglers, which I've had 2 Jeep Wranglers in my life. And the first one I bought, it was like $14,000. And the second one I bought, it was about $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, just to get into a Wrangler, you're at $40,000 for the stripped down model. And they've got some Wranglers that go up to almost $100,000.
And nobody pays cash, so you have to go get a loan.
Oh.
And the cost of money and the cost of fuel. It's there are a lot of people that just Uber around these days.
They do.
Yeah.
So good for Stellantis if they can get that kind of money, because there's huge profit margins in those vehicles.
Right.
But I think that they're running into some problems where suddenly money's a little tighter and people aren't wanting to spend the big bucks. And that means their cars are sitting around kind of doing nothing.
Not only that, cars are being built in a better fashion these days, manufactured, and there are a lot of people that are driving pre-owned cars.
Oh yeah,
a used car, and there's quite a market out there for that. So there's a lot of pressure on new car sales these days, no question about it.
So yeah, so I don't know what that means for Indiana, but I know that they've had some layoffs.
We're a car state.
We are a car state, which I mean. I'm looking at it. So Stellantis, they've got Chrysler. I think right now the Chrysler Pacifica is the only Chrysler branded product that they have on the market at the moment. Dodge got rid of the Challenger and the Charger, and I think that they've got a new all-electric Challenger that's coming out.
But don't forget, Klopp, there are a lot of manufacturers in this state that's not just the car; it's the parts. And there's a lot of contributions by Indiana companies. The Avalon that was built down in Lexington, Kentucky. It had 55 different Indiana companies that contributed to that car.
So now, when you were a state senator, did you get invited to go tour these plants?
Yes, I did. That's why I know a little bit about Toyota.
So that's how you know all about who the suppliers are.
Exactly.
So now, did you get to go down to like Greensburg and see Honda or
yes, I did.
Princeton or Toyota?
Yes, I did. I got to see most of the plants, and you know, I'm a tour nut. I love manufacturing. I love to see how things are made, and we learned a lot from the Asian companies, and our American companies are run so much better because they've got to be competitive. But Stellantis and a lot of these companies have a lot of pressure on them.
All right, you're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show with Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt.
When is the optimal time to file for Social Security? You know, it's not just about a specific age. This decision could needlessly trigger higher taxes on your benefits and higher taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals. You could even double your Medicare premiums. So if you don't consider all of these things, it could literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We know and trust Bill, and you can too. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This is the one tool that could help you get the most income from Social Security, and it won't cost you a dime, even if you're not a client. Call 317-932-9912. That's Bill Demery at 317-932-9912.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60-plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe.
all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The accusation is discrimination. You've got 78 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 4:30. The Department of Justice says the city of South Bend has been violating the Civil Rights Act by discriminating against black and female applicants. So now it's suing.
Title VII is meant to protect against discrimination in regard to factors like race, sex, and skin color. But the DOJ believes that the SBPD's exams have discriminated against some applicants for years. The lawsuit hopes to address this by ultimately requiring the city to use only lawful tests in its hiring process. It also hopes to provide relief like back pay and retroactive seniority for applicants who initially lost opportunities because of the exams, but then successfully reapply under a new process. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
A federal indictment with 5 counts has increased the legal troubles for an Indianapolis police officer. Prosecutors accuse suspended Indy Metro Police Sergeant Javid Richards of sharing child sexual abuse material online. He's also facing a state case involving child porn. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey has recommended he be fired. While the feds work to send more resources to areas hit by Hurricanes Helene and Milton, President Biden has also taken the time to address former President Trump.
Blasting former President Trump for spreading falsehoods about the federal response. The president was asked yesterday if he has any plans to talk to Trump, and he said no, and that the public will hold him accountable for what they say is an effort to spread misinformation that is undermining public confidence in the government's response.
That's Fox's Jackie Heinrich reporting. When you think of Halloween, you might imagine a few jump scares and scary monsters, for the kids at least. Well, the Indiana State Museum has a few other ideas.
We've got a costume contest for kids as well as adults, and it includes some great prizes.
Carla Knapp tells WIBC's Terry Stacy tonight's Night at the Boo Bash is for all ages. It'll run from 6 to 8 p.m. And the closing bell report on 93 WIBC, all positive for the trading week. Dow Jones up 409 points to 42,863. The NASDAQ up 60 to 18,342. And for the first time ever, the S&P 500 finishes above 5,800, 5,815, up 34 points. WIBC News Time, 4:32. Traffic and weather coming up in just 1 minute.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified. Luxury. Even the hard-to-find ones. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
With traffic, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Hancock County, here it is. Eastbound 70 crash, State Road 9, according to Hancock County 911 Emergency Management. This is a crash with possible injuries, multiple vehicles involved in near State Road 9. So it's eastbound 70 at 9, stop for miles. Back to County Road 200 West, going from Indy to Greenfield. Might want to use US 40 and instead to avoid the delay, which opened up at 58 minutes, just under an hour. Mercy. Looking at southbound 465, slow from 70 down to 74. Crash on the exit ramp from westbound 70 to northbound 65 in the north split. The ramp is open. It is partially blocked. West side southbound 465 grinding from 74 down to Sam Jones Expressway. Roadway reduced to 2 lanes until early Monday morning. It's a construction zone, and early Monday morning is when all those entrance ramps should reopen as well. Traffic sponsored by B Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing. B Window. Proud to be employee owned. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast brought to you by the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We're mainly clear tonight and dry with lows down in the mid-50s. Saturday will feature increasing cloud cover with highs pushing into the low 80s. And then by Saturday night, we're tracking the chance for isolated scattered showers. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna from 93 WIBC.
And I'm Donnie Burgess, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Afternoon, Central Indiana. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt.
We are darn lucky.
Are we darn lucky because it's Friday?
No, we're on. And I'm with you.
That's true. We are on the air. I'm having a lot of fun.
Me too.
It's a beautiful day outside. We are inside.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jim, we're going to bring our audience down. We're going to talk about taxes.
Property taxes.
Do you love taxes?
I like, no, they're very complicated. Nobody likes taxes.
Okay, there we go. So with that, joining us on the Merritt in the Morning hotline is Representative J.D. Prescott from District 33, Randolph County and other surrounding communities. Representative Prescott, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing very well. I'm actually just sitting outside enjoying the sunshine. So as you're recording inside, I'm recording outside and then getting to enjoy the fresh air.
I tried to get producer Allison to let us do this show outside on the circle, and I was told absolutely not. So now Jim says
we're right in the middle of farm season here in Randolph County, so I'm jumping on the line in between some work. So
I appreciate it. So are you harvesting right now, I assume?
Yeah, we are right in the middle of finishing up our soybean harvest.
Okay. So, very nice. So are you running a combine, or are you just pointing, telling people where to go?
I'm not in the combine right this minute. Right now I'm sitting in a truck with a trailer hooked up to the back, getting ready to go move some equipment around.
There we go. So Jim was just telling me you've got a property tax plan that is a repeal and replace plan. Let's talk about this, and then I will pick it apart and...
Well, Mr. Representative, Mr. State Representative, we really appreciate you being on today. And this is a very complex issue that's going to take phasing in. But you and I had a really good conversation the other day. And I know you've been on our airways with the inimitable Rob Kendall. But kind of in just a short amount of time, try to do some framework for our listeners on how you want to eliminate and take care of property taxes in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So you was talking when you first came on how taxes are complicated, and I really think property taxes are one of the most complicated taxes that there is, and the most costly to collect as well. So as I've been studying the property tax system that we have in place, I've come to the realization I think the property tax system is broken, and really the best thing that we can do is completely repeal the property tax system, not just for homeowners, but also agriculture, commercial, and business personal property taxes as well. So eliminate property taxes across the board, and by doing that, we could save $62.5 million across the state by eliminating the assessor's offices. We could also reduce the size of our state government by reducing DLGF as well. There would be a slight increase in workload and staffing and Department of Revenue, but it would still be a greater reduction at the state level as well. and as well as reducing the workload for various other offices in county government. And then I would replace the tax revenue with a 7% sales tax on services. So think labor. So the easiest way to explain it right now under current law, if you go and get your oil changed at a car dealership, you're paying sales tax on the oil and the filter, but you're not paying any sales tax on the labor. So what this does is it adds that 7% sales tax to the labor for all labor services across the state. I'm exempting everything that is already sales tax exempt, so think nonprofits, direct production of food, and then I'm adding exemptions for medical and education. Obviously, we don't want to greatly increase the cost of health care, and most education would already be sales tax exempt, being nonprofits, but this would keep private universities, private education on a level playing field with our public universities.
So I'm trying to think. Obviously, there's pros and cons to every tax. Certainly. Now, the argument for property taxes it is a very stable form of taxation because you can't move it around, so it stays in whatever district it is in. It is also one of the few mechanisms for actually taxing wealth as opposed to income. However, property taxes also mean that you are perpetually renting your home from the government. So, so what do you see as the pros and cons of this?
Yeah, that's correct. So the biggest benefit to this type of taxing structure is you're spreading that taxing burden out more fairly across all taxpayers across the state. With property taxes, we continue to add exemptions and deductions, tax abatements, so you have fewer and fewer people paying into the taxing system with property taxes year over year, but those that remain paying taxes pay a larger share of the tax burden year over year. So you keep shrinking your taxing base. So what we're doing by this is we're spreading out that taxing burden more fairly, one of that fair tax model across the state. And from the even distribution, you're right, that is one of the positives of a property tax structure is a more even distribution of revenue coming into local units of government. So what I've done to account for that is we would start collecting the sales tax on services in advance, and actually with the 7% tax rate, we would actually collect more than enough to operate and to fully replace property taxes, enough to create a surplus in an account ahead of time. That way we can build up a comfortable surplus. I've got certain economic thresholds must be met. Once we have that healthy surplus, we could actually reduce that tax rate so we can make sure that we have even distributions going to local units of government around the state.
And JD, you and I talked in that beautiful building we call the State House the other day, and one of the things that I talked to you about was referendums, and these referendums can be so unfair, or they just don't get to the question. And we also want to talk to you a little bit about the ballot question with the superintendent of public instruction. But just briefly, if you could talk about how this is going to do away with referendums, and I think that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So with this tax plan, it would do away with referendums because you're not going to have that property tax process in place to collect that referendum on. So it does away with referendums. It also does away with TIF districts and tax abatements because essentially everything's tax abated at that point if there's no property taxes.
So tell us a little bit about. I know you have an interest in this ballot question that we have, and I think all of our listeners need to know what this is all about.
Yeah, so the ballot question that's on it's to strike the state superintendent of public instruction from the temporary line of succession for governor. So if there was an absence of both the governor and the lieutenant governor at the same time, we've got a line of succession. And the very last one on that list is the state superintendent of public instruction. And just before I entered the General Assembly eliminated the state superintendent of public instruction as an elected. Yes, you were there. That's right. And you guys eliminated that as a statewide elected position and changed it to the Secretary of Education. So as I was reading, every year before Organization Day, I go through and I reread both the U.S. Constitution and our state constitution. It's just kind of one of my rituals before organization day is to go through and reread the Constitution before we take that oath of office.
I'm going to pause you right there and say I don't know whether to praise you or question your sanity on that.
Well, it's. I think it's important because we are taking that oath to uphold the Constitution, so we better know it, right? And while I was reading that, I caught that it's still in there as a state superintendent of public instruction. I thought, well, that's interesting. We should probably change that. We don't have a path for a appointed position to be in the spot where they're acting as governor for that temporary period of time. That way, that who is running the ship and steering the ship of our state has at least been vetted statewide by voters around the state. So that was the thought process behind that. It went through 2 separately elected General Assemblies, all constitutional amendments must, and it went through very non-controversial bipartisan support both times. So,
well, that's good. That's interesting.
It's right. So you remember the Sole Survivor television show?
I do.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool show.
It was.
So now, Jim, let me ask you while you're here. Obviously, Representative Prescott said that he wasn't in the legislature. Why did you get rid of the superintendent of public instruction as an elected position?
Well, I felt as though that this should not be an elected position. This should be a lot like Washington or any other state. There should be a Department of Education, but the person should be appointed because the governor, this is 50% or more of the budget. The governor, duly elected, should be able to work on his or her policy in education and have that Department of Education as his or her, the way that you would offer that education policy to the state of Indiana. And that's how I felt about it. And I'm not so big on the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. But here, I believe that if you want, for instance, charter schools and more choice, the governor of the state of Indiana ought to be able to say to the person in charge of education in the state, this is the policy, rather than having to joust with a Democrat or a Republican or Democrat, someone not of your party, on policy that you ran on and won. And it just gets more cogent, cohesive policy of education in the state of Indiana.
That's Jim Merritt. You can tweet at him at Jim_Merritt. Underline. So, Representative Prescott, I know you've got some beans to harvest, so I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you, JD.
Oh, happy to be on. Thank you.
All right. Look forward to meeting you in person. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show with Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Well, Cody was 24 years old, and he had a big sense of humor. Always liked to make people laugh.
Dennis DeMoss of Reith Riley Construction's son Cody was killed May 9th, 2014 while working in the Cone Zone.
Well, it was a normal day. Get dressed, drink coffee, and my phone rang. It was about 5:30. It was one of the workers on the road. Cody's been in an accident. He didn't make it. Someone come through the construction zone and hit two of our guys. I hung the phone up. My wife's standing right beside me, and our daughter, she was standing there. The hardest part was to tell them right then that our son just was dead. All of our people that's out there, they are moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we want to go home too. We're not out there to inconvenience people. We're trying to make it better for everybody. Give us some space, let us do our work, and we'll be out of your way and move on.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Chris Wedican here, owner of Absolute Comfort. Go to absolutecomfort.org to lower your monthly bills.
Savings on heating and cooling at Absolute Comfort, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
Matt Bear, give me some good news.
Southbound 65 stop-and-go traffic from the White River down to Meridian Penn. And on the west side, a grind of a construction zone here on southbound 465 from Crawfordsville Road down to Sam Jones Expressway. Roadway reduced to 2 lanes. And all that should be done early Monday morning. Looking at a crash going into the north split westbound 70. On the ramp to northbound 65, that ramp is open. It is partially blocked. Bad delay out in Hancock County. Mercy. Crash eastbound 70 is State Road 9 crash with injuries, and right now traffic is stopped for about 5.5 miles from State Road 9 heading towards Greenfield. I would use US 40 instead. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
76 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt, sitting in for Hammer and Nigel yesterday, today, and Monday. Maybe, exactly. We are on a series of one-day contracts. Although the good news is the immediate boss has gone home for the day.
Well, he's probably stuck in traffic, Matt Bear.
He is, yeah. So, good luck to you. So it sounds like there's a whole lot of you who get to listen to 50% more of Brad and Jim because you're stuck in your car. So, Jim, you know what day it is?
Other than Friday?
It is Friday. It is a beer sample Friday, which is always one of my favorite days. If I'm ever going to fill in, I would like it to be on Fridays. I want to wish a very happy birthday to Mayor of Lawrence, Deb Whitfield.
Happy birthday, Deb.
Happy birthday, Mayor.
Mayor.
So, yes. So I saw that. It just came up on my Facebook, and I was like, all right, let's wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah.
So, Jim.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about Governor Holcomb is heading to Greece on his latest trade trip.
Yes, and he's had a lot of trade trips. I think 6 this year, and he's been on 26 during his 8 years in office. And I want my governor to be around the world and bringing jobs here. Lilly has an investment. A couple other companies have investment in Greece. And I think it's a very good thing that Indiana is at the table of global business, if you will. And Indiana has had lots of success ever since John Mutz was lieutenant governor of bringing the world to Indiana. And we've done really well with economic development and bringing jobs to our state.
So now I'm trying to think. The dog whistle in my head goes up. I actually love Eric Holcomb as a person. I want to establish that first and foremost. And good for him for taking these trade missions. And I hope he comes back with some employers, manufacturers. Maybe Indiana will get like an olive oil production facility.
Wow, that'd be fabulous.
That would be good. But I'm trying to think, what else could we possibly bring back from Greece? They are like the poorest country in the EU.
Well, I don't know. I know there are Hoosier companies that have investment there. And when I went on a trade mission when Mitch Daniels was governor, one of our biggest responsibilities was thanking the companies that we have an ongoing relationship, number one, and two, introducing really the country of Japan and Taiwan to Indianapolis and Indiana, and more importantly, Indiana. And
so I can certainly see thanking our customers.
Yes.
That's actually a big, I always forget about that on these trade missions, that it's twofold. You want them to have investments here, but you also want them to buy our stuff.
It's regardless if he's going to be gone on December 31st or in January, I think it's important that he run through the tape, and good on Governor Holcomb for doing this. And it'd be interesting to see what rocks you can overturn in Greece to possibly bring an employer back here, or maybe open some sort of channel for an Indiana company in Greece. I mean, there's a two-way street there, and something I think this is very good.
Get Hoosier's favored travel status.
Yes.
Go with
Eric
Big
Holcomb
George.
is that.
Go with Big George from Greek Islands. You're listening. This is Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt. We're sitting in for Hammer and Nigel.
Man, I love the way my brand new Galaxy concrete garage floor looks. Those guys did an amazing job. They were in and out within a day. My old garage floor was dirty and gross and cracked, and their amazing staff came in and within a day made it look brand new. It's not epoxy, by the way. It's better and 4 times stronger. I spend a ton of time out in my garage, and my new Galaxy concrete garage floor is out of this world. Check out their website and see pictures and get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call their office at 317-751-9070.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $69 a month for 24 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 10/27/24. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New 300 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade this Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft?
LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Coming up in 2 minutes, you're going to get a real taste of fall next week. John Herrick has what you need to know. The Colts will be without a key player Sunday. Gas prices going up again. And Ryan Hedrick reports on a woman trying to turn her life around. Those stories and more next from the Technology Recycler Studios. I'm Donnie Burgess. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's now 5 o'clock.
He's hoping to flip a blue state to red. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, by focusing on a violent Venezuelan gang.
Colorado is going to vote for me because I am going to make Colorado safe again. We're going to make you safe. We're going to do it fast.
Former President Trump in Aurora, Colorado, where video footage of armed men in apartment buildings fueled concern about suspected gang members in the U.S. illegally taking over properties.
But I want to say we want to have people come into our country, but they have to come in legally. We don't want them.
Aurora's Republican mayor says concerns about Venezuelan gang activity have been grossly exaggerated, inviting Trump to visit the community and meet with police. Vice President Kamala Harris campaigning in Arizona.
I know we are going to win this election, and it is not going to be easy.
She says fundamental freedoms are at stake and that it's backward thinking to consider empathy a sign of weakness.
To have some level of concern and care about the suffering of other people and then take it upon oneself to do something about that. That is about lifting the condition of your fellow human being.
Also pledging if she wins to have not only a Republican cabinet member, but a bipartisan council of advisors. President Biden for a fourth day defending the federal hurricane response and commending neighbors helping neighbors.
I'm pleased that more Americans are coming together in a truly voluntary way. I mean, this is who the hell we are. When America's in trouble, we all jump in and try to help. Help your neighbor. And that's basically what's happening.
He's pledging again to do everything possible to help people pick up the pieces and says he'll be asking Congress for more disaster funding. In Florida, a second day of water rescues from Hurricane Milton as utility crews chip away at some 2 million remaining power outages. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You're going to get a real taste of fall. It's sunny and 78. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 5:02. There might be rain in portions of Indiana this weekend,
but don't expect much of it. I'm John Herrick. That's the message from Andrew White with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
We really got little to no chances for rain except for the far northern portions of the state. It's really just that small chance Saturday night, and then unfortunately the next 7 to 10 days looks dry.
The reason White says unfortunately there is because the latest U.S. drought monitor shows more than 90% of Indiana as abnormally dry, with northern portions of the state being in moderate drought. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you plan on traveling this weekend despite some chilly weather, you might run into some expensive gas prices. Today's average is $3.25 a gallon. That's up 11 cents from last week. Suspended Indy Metro Police Sergeant Javid Richards now faces federal charges of distributing child sexual abuse material. He was originally charged with possessing child porn and child exploitation. Running back Jonathan Taylor will not play Sunday's game with the Tennessee Titans. Indianapolis Colts head coach Shane Steichen says QB Anthony Richardson will be a game-time decision. A program that helps women in need held a ceremony in downtown Indianapolis Thursday.
Tamika Taylor had to walk more than 2 hours to get to work into the grocery store without a car. On Thursday, she was gifted a 2019 Chevy Cruze.
Now I can get to my school, doctor's appointments, wherever else I need to go freely without depending on somebody or paying a bunch for Uber and Lyft.
The program responsible for Tamika's gift was the National Auto Body Council Recycle the Rides program. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes. Coming up in 1 minute. How about that? News time 5:04.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Donnie, west side, southbound 465, stop and go from West 21st Street down to Sam Jones Expressway. That is a construction zone until early Monday morning. Inbound 65, stop and go traffic from the White River to Meridian Penn, 12-minute delay. Southbound 6570 slows from the north split down to Washington Street. Eastbound 70 starting to move at the front of the line. The crash did clear at least both lanes, reopened to State Road 9, but still stopped for about 5 miles with the front of the line on its way. There's a stall after that, eastbound 70 after State Road 9. That's blocking the right lane, basically on the right shoulder, still slowing us down. Not as bad as the crash, which has cleared. Traffic sponsored by Trade Heating and Cooling Systems. Trade Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. They run together. Visit tradeinfo.com to find your local independent trade dealer. It's hard to stop a trade. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast, brought to you by the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
It made a clear and quiet nights ahead for us with lows down in the mid-50s. Saturday will feature increasing cloud cover with highs in the low 80s. By Saturday night, we are tracking isolated scattered shower potential. On which TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna from 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel show up next. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Friday! Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt, sitting in for Hammer and Nigel today. They will be back on Tuesday. Jim Merritt sitting across from me. You wouldn't know it from listening to him. He's a highly respected member of society.
Oh, well, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, you are. 30-year state senator. A curse word has never crossed your lips. You were born in a three-piece suit.
And you're president of the Lawrence Chamber of Commerce.
I am.
Yes, you are.
I am. So, yes, we're good people. So, Jim, I got to tell you, when I've mentioned highly respected member of society, and had Damian Mason stuck around a little bit longer, we would have gotten into this. Back years ago, 30 years ago, we lived downtown, and there used to be a place over on Fort Wayne Avenue called the something Cafe, Sunshine Cafe. I don't know what it was. But anyhow, we were in there on like a Monday morning, mid-morning, like 10 o'clock. And we look over, and there's a guy who looks somewhat disheveled who's sitting at a table across the way, and he's getting up and he's sitting down, he's getting up and he's sitting down, he's going to other tables, getting sugar to put in his coffee, and he just keeps mumbling, said, I'm sorry, I'm having a bad day. And it's like, and we started to speculate, it's like, how bad of a day is this guy really having? And as the speculation went on, we're like, who knows? Maybe he's a state senator. Maybe, he left the state house on Friday morning, came over, did some business, went on a little bender this weekend, and we're like, maybe any minute some secretary's going to come and say, Senator, thank God we found you. We got to get you back to the state house. You've got to vote. So when we say we're a highly respected member of society, that is who we're referring to.
I see. Well, I don't go to breakfast there.
No, place it was a Greek restaurant, I think. I'm not even sure if it's still
I know
open.
the restaurant you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, so that is the insider joke on being a highly respected member of society. So, Jim, this hour, this is our food and booze hour.
Yeah.
The best hour of the week.
Like, Klopp, do you like Oreos?
I love Oreos.
Yeah, I went to the grocery today, and about once a month I pick up.
You don't have people?
I like going to the grocery store. James greets me at the door, and it's just a great experience. And I'm sitting there, and I want to, about once a month, I just blow by the cookie section, and I pick up just a package of thin Oreos. And when I got to the cash register, I was checking myself out, and it's the Oreo thins for $4.79.
Outrageous!
In a smaller package.
Oh my gosh!
So I went back in, and I couldn't believe how many different varieties they have. And you have the gold, but you have tiramisu. I mean, there's a Coca-Cola, and the non-gluten. My sister says is that the cream in the middle, the white, is creamier with the non-gluten. And the story, I've been eating Oreos forever, and my dad or my brother would when we were growing up, he had these little marks on his face, and we always thought it was Oreo cookies, but it was just something on his skin. But
so it's a terrible skin rash, or you've been eating Oreos.
No, it's just little spots that look like Oreo crumbs.
So now you alerted me to this earlier today, and I kind of did not believe you, because I actually do the grocery shopping for our household. So I went to the Oreo website. And sure enough, Coca-Cola sandwich, Oreos, Star Wars Oreos. I don't know what Star Wars tastes like.
I don't either, but you can also design your own Oreo.
I bet it tastes blue.
It probably sparkles.
Yeah. You could, they're probably taking a cue from the M&M's website, because I think if you go to the M&M's website, you can actually make your own mix.
That very well could be.
Various colors.
But that's quite a website, Oreo.com.
So, and they're not even paying for this.
No.
They should be paying us at least a little bit. Yeah. Come on, man.
But
50,000 watts doesn't come for free.
You could eat 2 Oreos and be fine for a snack.
Okay, they also had mint cream chocolate, toffee crunch. I mean, sounds like they're kind of muscling in on the Girl Scouts with some of this.
A little bit. So,
those Girl Scouts, they'll come after you. You better be careful, Oreo.
Are you a victim?
Yeah. Well, hey, trust me, they'll catch you. They catch you before you go into the grocery store.
And when you're hungry.
And then they also catch you on the way out. And yeah, you feel guilty. And the next thing you know, you got 5 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. They've got Java chip cream.
Wow.
Why?
Yeah.
Coffee. I mean, I guess for the coffee lovers, apparently, they got lemon cream, peanut butter.
You see tiramisu?
I see tiramisu on there. That's interesting. It reminds me. So, like this summer, I don't know if you know this, Jim, but I am a Diet Dr. Pepper overachiever.
I know you like Diet Dr. Pepper, but I didn't think
Jim
you were an
and I get
overachiever.
together and have lunch about once a week, give or take. And we typically go to one particular place, and the waitress there, she just knows. So instead of bringing us a Diet Coke and setting it down and then going back and forth the refilling, when we come in, she just brings us a pitcher.
Yeah. And we destroy it.
We do destroy it. So, but Dr. Pepper, they've got a cream soda version, which I love, and they had a coconut cream soda this summer, which was my favorite, and I only found it once, and then it went away. And
Must have been very popular.
Apparently,
like
I don't know. I don't know how it could have been.
Oreos. Thin Oreos.
Thin Oreos.
Oreo thins.
Now, is
Bigger
that just a way
package.
for them to charge you the same amount? They probably charge you the same amount. There's the same number of Oreos in there, but there's only half as much Oreo product in there.
All I know is the package is small.
Jim, you've been scammed. I know exactly how this went
The
down.
Oreo scam.
This is Oreo scam. So now, Jim, I don't know if you heard, McDonald's has a new chicken Big Mac.
Yeah, it's a big. I wonder how there used to be a song for Big Macs.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Boom! I got that. I didn't even have to practice.
You couldn't do the chicken though.
2 all-chicken patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, I think is exactly how you modify that.
Congratulations.
So, are you going to try it?
Maybe half.
Actually, when's the last time you went to a McDonald's?
Every morning for Diet Coke for my wife.
For real?
Yes.
Okay,
large Diet Coke, extra ice.
My wife does. She says the same thing, that there's something about a McDonald's Diet Coke that it's
better than the actual Diet Coke out of the can.
How can that possibly be?
I don't know, but my wife likes it. And
Are they putting crack in this? Should we be investigating them?
She drinks a lot of Diet Coke, but she loves she loves McDonald's Diet Coke.
I think that you and I might be sleeping by ourselves tonight because we've just outed our wives on their Diet Coke habits.
Well, it's not Coke.
It is not Coke. So, although as many Diet Cokes or Diet Dr. Peppers as I drink, I am really hoping scientists are working on a cure for whatever it is I'm going to get.
Congratulations to McDonald's for the chicken Big Mac. I think that's a great, it looks so large that I'd probably eat half of it and share.
You think it's really going to be a big seller?
I think anything McDonald's touches. I mean, they're going to have donuts from Krispy Kreme. I think they already have those. I mean, they're really kind of broadening their menu for what America wants. And who doesn't like a Krispy Kreme donut?
I don't know. I bet Matt Bear does. Matt, how's the traffic looking?
Southbound 465 on the west side, stop and go traffic from 74 Crawfordsville Road down to Washington Street, US 40. That's because of a construction zone. From Washington Street down to 70, that should be done early Monday morning. Eastbound 465 stops before Keystone Avenue to the White River. Inbound 65 stop and go from MLK to Meridian Penn. Here's the deal in Hancock County. The crash is cleared eastbound 70 State Road 9. Now we are still stopped between Mount Comfort Road and State Road 9 as the front of the delay starts to clear out. But we have a new problem. It's eastbound 70 after State Road 9. This is a semi that is broken down in the right lane, causing stop traffic to State Road 9. So you get through one delay and you'll get right back in another right around State Road 9. Traffic sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save on money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Love me some Matt Bear. 75 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified. Luxury. Even the hard-to-find ones. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit InvisibleFence.com today.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun, brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
You set them up and I'll knock them back, Lloyd. One by one.
We are gonna read Booze News, cause it's really fun.
Nigel presents
Booze News, Booze News.
Yeah.
Here we go. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt, sitting in for Hammer Nigel today. We are here through 7 o'clock today. So, Jim, I decided Hammer and Nigel, they have a fantastic show, but they don't devote nearly enough time to booze chat. So our guests that we had lined up for 5:30, and then our beer/tequila sample Friday got here a little early. So we're going to let a bunch of my worlds collide right now, and we're going to start booze news and booze chat way early. Joining us here in studio, Brett Glaze from Hiatus Tequila. Hello, Brett.
Hello, Klopp.
How are you, man?
Klopp. Stories? Oh, I got more than you could ever know.
So, just as background, so Brett Glaze and I both started selling beer at Monarch Beverage back in 1994.
Yep.
Brett sold wine, I think, off-premise, which is like into the package stores and grocery stores.
Yep.
I sold beer on-premise. My first territory, I had the Near East Side and Wanamaker.
Oh, boy.
I sold more Strohs and PBR than anybody else in the company. And then fast forward, when I was with the Libertarian Party, I was Brett's tenant in his house for a year, and then he kicked me out for a girl. Can you believe that, Jim?
Yes, I can.
How did that work out for you, Brett?
I remember that conversation. I felt terrible, but she was a lot cuter than Brad.
Well,
yeah, and Brad's a handsome guy, but yeah. So
if you want to see how handsome, check us out on the YouTube feed. Jim, you see how I wove that in?
Is that the Merritt in the Morning YouTube feed?
Actually, this is the Hammer Nigel YouTube feed. We can see you. We can see me. Brett is not
which is great because my mother used to say I had a face for radio.
That's
I
where
don't know
you
what
are
she
now.
meant, but now it's all coming together.
So now, Brett, you are also the person who's behind the forthcoming Hammer and Nigel tequila, correct?
100%. With Hammer and Nigel, obviously, they've been great supporters of what we're doing. And it's going to be called Is This Anything? Hiatus Barrel Select Tequila.
That's wonderful.
Launch, yeah, we'll get you a bottle, Jim, for sure. Yeah, it's going to launch here late October, mid-November. They're actually bottling it at the distillery down there in Mexico as we speak. But then we got to get it across the border. We got to get up to New York to our distribution warehouse there and then ship to Indiana. So it takes a little time.
Yeah, Hammer did say, he's like, all right, if you're having glaze in here, ask him when Mark Tequila is going to be in.
It's coming. But, you know, there's this...
You told him to bug you a little bit about it.
Oh, understandable. Yeah, rightly so. Hey, they're just anxious, and that's great. That they're that excited. We're excited here at Hiatus, but there's this little organization called Customs, and they just don't let you drive across the border free and nilly, you know. So
we've heard otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. I watch Fox News. They would say that their border means nothing.
Maybe I should hire a different shipping company.
Yeah, there's some unsavory ones out there. They'll charge you more.
Yeah.
But your tequila is savory.
Yeah, they can bring some other goods with them at the same time. We can make this a multi-unit operation.
Apparently. Okay.
Multi-goods.
You know, you both
person.
have experience at the French company.
We do.
Monarch, and that's a wonderful family.
So the French family own Monarch Beverage. That's what that Jim's referring to. And I know that you were good friends of the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
The good news is Eddie French was actually listening and texted me yesterday during the show. So he is back from Florida, at least for now.
He's one in a million.
He is. Love that guy.
Terrific individual. Long time. We played basketball at Tab together, Tabernacle Church.
Yeah.
Which is turning 100 years old. And we were in recreation there together. So I've known him a long time.
So, Jim, how's your game?
My game is, I have no game.
Okay. Well, you're tall. You're
like my golf.
You're 6'2", 6'3".
Not that tall, but I can't shoot. I can't run. I can't do anything. But I definitely like watching basketball and football. And I know Brett's an IU fan. We're really pleased and proud of that football team. Sorry about Purdue there, Klopp.
That's all right. Yeah. I can't even defend them.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Glaze,
yes,
tell us, how did you get into the tequila business?
It's actually a fascinating story. So I work for a beer company. I'm not going to say their name.
You're right. They don't deserve the advertising.
They don't deserve the advertising. No, I had a good 10-year run there. And then I parted ways with them right before COVID. So
how fortuitous.
How fortuitous. Yep. And big word of the day. Don't ask me to spell that. I got to tell you, Klopp, on the way down here, I was listening to you. Your vocabulary, it sincerely impresses.
It's astounding.
It really is. Yeah.
Apparently, in my life, I've only killed the weak brain cells.
So I took a couple months off. I went down to Florida, Naples, which isn't a bad place to be during COVID. And improved my golf game, but it's still very, very bad. But anyway, came home, and I have some very, very good friends, or they're not even friends, they're family, that own the Ale Emporium, the world-famous Ale Emporium. And so I started hanging out there and helping them there a little bit, hanging around the bar, the restaurant. And one of the owners from Hiatus Tequila came in one day and asked me what I did. And I told him I was a dishwasher. He did not believe the story, but that's what we went with. And then he told me he owned a tequila company. I did not agree with him at the time. I thought he was selling me, you know.
You thought he was like the senator that I was talking about in the last segment.
Exactly. That's exactly how it came across.
Not this senator.
Not you, not Jim Merritt. He was a good senator. I'm talking about the semi-homeless guy at the cafe.
But I checked him out. I vetted him. He vetted me. And sure enough, what sold me was one of the first partners of Hiatus was the Hughes family from St. Elmo's, Craig and Steve. They were some of our original backers in this endeavor. And so hey, I thought if Craig Hughes is going to get involved, I'm certainly going to get involved. And so we jumped on board. That was June of 2020, and the rest is history. And, we're 5 years into this, and we're growing. Actually, our biggest accomplishment this year, we've gotten like 200 Publix down in Florida.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty well here in Indiana.
Down to 196 now.
Yeah. After the hurricane. So
sorry about that,
no,
Brett.
Yeah. No, but so here we are today, and we've got a special barrel select hiatus tequila we're doing with Hammer and Nigel. That's going to be coming out here in the next 3-4 weeks. Please be patient with this. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, when's it coming? Can I get a bottle? So on and so forth. But we've partnered up with Hammer and Nigel, the fine folks at WIBC, the fine folks over there at the Ale Emporium, where you can buy a bottle of it. You can consume it there if you want a cocktail, or you can swing in there and get a bottle and take it home with you and have some fun at home.
All right, you sold me. I'm going to run to the beer fridge. In the meantime, let's check in with Delphi Donnie Burgess over to News Center.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The feds say the city isn't playing fair. You've got 78 degrees, sunny skies. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 529. The city of South Bend's police department has been accused of discrimination. That has led to a lawsuit from the Department of Justice.
The DOJ says the city of South Bend has been violating Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Essentially, the organization believes that the SBPD's written exam has discriminated against black applicants, and its physical exam has discriminated against female applicants since at least 2016. So the DOJ's lawsuit hopes to address this, in part by requiring the city to use only lawful tests in its hiring process. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
One of 3 Memphis police officers found guilty in the Tyree Nichols civil rights case is asking for bond. Officer Demetrius Haley is the only cop out of the 3 denied bail, since he was also convicted of excessive force. The other 2 did make bail. At least 16 people are confirmed dead after Hurricane Milton hit the Sarasota area of Florida this week. Over 1,000 people have been rescued so far, and Indiana Task Force 1 is part of that recovery effort. Very little rain is expected this weekend, but then temperatures cool down across Indiana.
So we're expecting temperatures in about the low 80s on Saturday, the mid 70s on Sunday, but then we're looking at a cool down to start the work week next week.
Monday could get off to a frosty start, says forecaster Andrew White with the National Weather Service. An award meant to honor first responders who are either badly wounded or killed in the line of duty is now available.
It's called the Hoosier First Responder Medal of Honor.
This new award is a tribute to the bravery and selflessness of those who go beyond the call of duty, risking everything to keep us safe.
State Representative Dave Hall of Norman says law enforcement officers, firefighters, corrections officers, or volunteers whose duties include rapid emergency response are eligible to receive the award. A first responder's employer can nominate them for it by going online to in.gov. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Matt Bear, traffic time. What's happening?
All right, Donnie, looking at the west side, southbound 465, stop and go from I-74 down to Washington Street because of construction. Inbound 65, stop and go from the White River to Meridian Penn. Southbound 65 slows from Raymond Street down to Keystone Avenue. Eastbound 70 stall after State Road 9 stalled. Semi blocking the right lane has traffic stopped all the way back to County Road 200 West. That's over 4 miles. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. No subcontractors ever. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast, brought to you by the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We are tracking a mainly clear and quiet night tonight with lows down into the mid-50s. Saturday will feature increasing cloud cover with highs in the low 80s. Then we are tracking our next rain chance by Saturday night. There is potential for isolated scattered showers in the late nighttime hours into early Sunday morning. By Sunday, we are talking a slightly cooler day with highs in the mid-70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Steve Indiana for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Put your rings up. The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt sitting in for Hammer and Nigel today. thank you very much for joining us and listening and not tuning out. Sounds like there's a lot of traffic on the roads, so I know your commute's going to be a little longer than normal, so thank you for sitting in with us. Jim, I've always thought that Beer Sample Friday, they usually only devote like 4 minutes to it. That's not nearly enough. It's Friday. We've all worked hard all week long.
It's a beautiful day outside.
So here we are. We've got Brett Glaze joining us from Hiatus Tequila. He and I used to sell beer together. So we're actually doing a twofer on Friday. So we are going to crack the beer right now, and then in the last segment, we're going to sample the tequila. So on the count of three, I think it's time to open it. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Love that sound.
I love a job where you can...
I haven't had Coors
Banquet.
Coors Banquet
The
for
banquet.
a long time.
The banquet beer.
I just saw an advertisement today on Instagram where you can buy Coors Banquet wash jeans.
They're actually selling a Coors, get this, Coors Banquet Yellowstone wedding ring from the show Yellowstone.
Yeah.
You know, because they drink banquets all the time.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, yeah, so it actually comes in a 6-pack. It's got 6 bottles, and then there's a little drawer in the bottom, and it's got a black man's wedding ring in there. And I think it's just like the one that, what's his name?
Rip.
That Rip has.
The daughter.
Yes. So
Beth. The feisty one.
The feisty one.
So we're talking a little bit about booze. We're phoning it in, really, is what we're doing, Jim.
I think we phoned it in the whole. This is not work.
We possibly have.
Fun.
What are they going to do? Fire us? We don't really work here.
Wait, I'm
You're
not
the
getting
one
a
with the key
paycheck?
card.
Wait a minute. You told me I was getting paid.
No, we only invited you because you brought the tequila.
Yeah, you're the booze guy.
So Brett used to be my roommate, and that was back when I was running the State Libertarian Party. Brett, for the longest time, held an obscure record for the best finish by any libertarian in Indiana running for Indiana Senate. And Brett, would you like to tell the story on how this happened?
I'm going to let you do it, Clap. You're much more well-spoken.
It's a little fuzzy, and I didn't. The repercussions, you almost got fired.
I did almost get fired. So, the company I worked for at the time, the CEO of the company, a wonderful individual. I'm not going to say his name, but a wonderful individual. And he was very active in state politics. And so to finish the story,
Very good,
Jim,
close friend of mine.
Yeah, wonderful individual. And he supported a lot of different candidates on both sides of the aisle and was very fair with everybody. He just wanted to do what was in the best interest of our industry at the time, which was the beer and wine industry and whatnot. And we had friends on both sides of the aisle. And so when Brad signed me up to run for state senator, District 28,
did I twist your arm or otherwise?
You bought me a beer and I signed the paperwork. and the rest is history. So I'll never forget mowing my yard, and then my phone rang. His cell phone rang, and it was like a senior at a Greenfield
Central, your district was
part of my district.
Part of Fishers, but then you had like all of Hancock County and all of Henry County.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I just knew that I lived in Fishers area, and I get a phone, so I didn't recognize the number. This is way back even before caller ID, and so I answered the phone. I turned the lawnmower off, and I answered the phone, and she starts asking me questions about all kinds of political issues at the time and everything else, and I said, hey, I'm gonna have to get back to you on this. I'm really not sure where I stand on any of this and whatnot, but anyway, so going back to my boss, he like I said, he gave to both campaigns, and one of the people that I was running against, she was very worried that my CEO was going to take his funds away from her and allocate those campaign dollars to my campaign, but he didn't even realize I was running for state senator.
So your opponent thought that there was a coup going on.
Yes, yeah, and so it got very, very
a little sticky.
We'll use the word sticky and everything else, and so I had to sit in the quote unquote principal's office and explained what I was doing, and basically I was helping a buddy who's sitting across.
Well, you probably dropped my name. You just said, well, Brad Klopfenstein got me to do it. They're like, oh,
former buddy.
Former buddy. Well, another thing. So the night of the election, if people recall, there's always those tickers that
the little scroll at the bottom
and everything else. And my grandfather called me, and he's like, "Hey." I said, "Yeah, Grandpa." He's like, "There's a guy running for state senator who's got the same name as you." And I said, "Well, that would be me." And he says, "Well, why didn't you tell me? I would have given you some money." And I'm like, "Well, you can still give me some money, God rest his soul." But so certainly wasn't. I do want to throw in the caveat. Certainly don't. I didn't want to come across as making a mockery of the wonderful democratic process that we have here in America and whatnot. But
no, you actually did it well. You campaigned a little bit, and
a little bit. But Jim, here's the thing that really threw me. So I all of a sudden realized that this could be serious. Like, this is like a real deal. And so Klopp and I were out for our normal, Friday afternoon beer or whatever. And I said, "So what happens if I get elected? Like, well, what happens?" And he's like, "Well, it could be scary, Glaze, because you would be the swing vote, because it was going to come down to party lines, right?"
Oh, that's right. At the time, the Senate was a lot closer than it is today. And I think it would have made it like 26, 24. Well, I think, 25, 24, and 1 or something like that.
What year was it?
This would have been 2004.
Okay.
So I could have had real power, Jim.
Yeah.
And I've never had power in my entire life. I wasn't even a crosswalk guard, or safety patrol in elementary school. So yeah.
No, it was funny. So he did well. So at the time, I think Brett got
13,000, 14,000 votes.
Yeah, I mean, he got a lot of votes. Like I say, it was a high water mark for libertarians at the time. And actually, the reason we ran him, so when I took over running the party, people were always, especially reporters, were always looking for reasons to not cover us. And in like 2000 or 2002, the big knock was like, "Oh, you guys just don't run enough candidates to even be, worthy of consideration. You can't do anything." So I'm like, "All right, you want me to run candidates? I will run every single person I know." So if you started looking down at the list of 140 libertarians that were on the ballot that year, you'd be like, "All right, that's Brad's cousin. That's his roommate. He went to high school with that guy. He dated her."
Good on you.
So
Brad, we never dated, just for the
record. Okay, no, it was not. Brett was not the former girlfriend. No. But it was funny, and I don't know what this says. It probably has more to do with your opponent than actually you. But so Brett was at the far northwest part of that district. The further away you got from where Brett lived, the better he did.
It says something.
Yeah. Well, I just think name recognition, easy name to pronounce.
It is. It helps. Klopfenstein never goes well on a yard sign or even talking
you have
on the
to
radio.
put is Klopp.
There's Klopp. Well, exactly. We've gone to Klopp, or as somehow Rob Kindle has managed to lengthen it, Klopfenstein. So I'm Brad Klopfenstein. Jim Merritt. We host a podcast. Brett,
I've listened to it before. You've had some. You have some heavy hitters. You haven't had me on there, so I don't consider it a real podcast just yet.
Well, exactly.
So, and I just found out Jim is a tequila connoisseur, so I really think that we should do, even though it's called Merritt in the morning, I don't know if we want to be drinking tequila at 9 a.m., but it has happened
I've never
before.
done that before.
Well, never say never.
Yeah. We have a good time.
Yeah.
We've got some great guests. And we've had 41 episodes.
Yeah, 41 episodes, and most of them have been good.
Yeah. We had Jeff Samoyan on there.
We did have Jeff Samoyan.
I mean, like I said, that's a big deal. Yeah. And I've actually, let's say, Jeff's a friend, but I've interacted with him and his radio stations and everything else. And yes, a wonderful individual.
He changed the world of radio.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So you guys hold this thought. Listeners, you are listening to Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt. We are filling in for Hammer Nigel. We'll be right back.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new Office of Environmental Justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Chris Whittakin here. Go to AbsoluteComfort.org for a free second opinion so we can keep you absolutely comfortable every day, all day.
Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Join WIBC this Saturday for the Home and Garden Show live from Sullivan Hardware and Garden at 71st and Keystone from 9 to 1 for their perennials, trees, and shrub clearance with Sullivan Hardware and Garden and 93 WIBC.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
Northeast side crash northbound 69 after 82nd Street, and the right lane is blocked. This has traffic stopped into the 465 ramps and then stop and go back to East 56th Street. Hancock County stalled semi eastbound 70 after State Road 9. The right lane is closed and traffic is stopped for about 4.5 miles. Looking at the south side, southbound 69 at South Keystone Avenue, a cop is out with a semi blocking the right lane. Traffic stop and go back into the south split. West side southbound 465, a grind from 74 down to Washington. The roadway reduced to 2 lanes because of construction that ends early Monday morning. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
75 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
Right now,
Hammer and Nigel present
beer sample.
Fry.
I got some beers. Let's drink them, huh?
Beer's on sale, people. Come down, get you some.
Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt sitting in for Hammer and Nigel today. Now with 100% more Beer Sample Friday. we started a little early.
Yeah.
However, our in-studio guest,
we earned it.
We have earned it. It's been a very long week. And Jim, you've done an excellent job.
And so have you.
You're a fantastic
You're the anchor.
You're a fantastic co-host. You are here for insight and wisdom, and you keep us rolling.
Well, maybe they'll have us come back next week.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
If we're back here on Monday, you'll know that
success.
you'll know either one of two things. Either they thought we did a good job or they didn't have anybody else to fill in with.
Or they missed the show.
Or exactly. If this is nothing but a repeat of Tuesday's show, you'll know. So joining us in studio from Hiatus Tequila, Brett Glaze. Brett, how are you?
Your friend, Brett Glaze.
Our friend now, Jim.
Our friend.
Our friend. So he's friend of the show. Brett is also the one behind Hammer and Nigel Tequila.
Is this anything tequila?
That's right. Is this anything tequila?
Yeah, it's so perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been working on this. We actually started this project over a year ago. My partner, the founder of Hiatus Tequila, Christopher Soto, a wonderful individual. He was in studio with Hammer, Nigel, and myself. It's been well over a year ago, and they put him on the spot because they had done their own bourbon and sold out and had tons of success. And they said, "Hey, can we do a tequila?" And Chris said yes, but kind of laughed it off a little bit, but said, let us work on it. And a year later, we were able to bring it to life, and we're going to be able to sell it to the masses out there here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Going to be available at all the ale emporiums. Got to give them a shout out. Great people. We just did
Actually, Jim, Ale Emporium would make a great sponsor of the Merritt in the Morning podcast.
It would. I lived up in that area of 86th and Allisonville Road for a long time, and when it snowed deep, Ale Emporium was a place to go because you could walk home. Yeah. And other times as well.
Yeah. We've had a few people have to walk out of there over the years, which is the right
great
thing
place
to
to go, though.
So we just did a multi-million-dollar expansion remodel there in the Castleton location. So
it's enormous now, Klopp.
Close to 20,000 square feet.
Actually, Brett gave me a private tour of the kitchen. A couple months ago. It is fantastic. I was very envious.
Yeah. And then we've got obviously the Fisher's location, Greenwood, and the big news is Avon, April, May of next year. So
that's some growth.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, but it's a great story. It's family owned, and they've been around since 1982, 43 years. But great ownership, great employees, management team. But it's really like anything else. When it's successful, it's about the customers. We've just had great customers that show up time and time again. So they've been through it with us. COVID. I mean, COVID. I'm almost bragging at this point in time, but when all the restaurants shut down and you can only do carry out. A lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of restaurants, their business tanked. For the first week, our business went up.
Yeah.
Up. Other people are closing down, and
people could walk there.
Yeah, and we had to, and people would come through and get carry out, and their bill would be $50, and they leave $100 tip for the staff, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, and that goes back to, not to get sappy, but that's what Hoosier hospitality all about.
Absolutely.
In the state of Indiana and Indianapolis. I mean, we're not New York.
We take care of our own.
We do, and that's why I love living here. This is a great community. And Jim, you've represented it well over the years.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get off the.
I was going to say we've got some tasting to do. So what did you bring us today?
So I only brought two of our expressions. I brought us the reposado, which means rested.
Yes.
And that's aged in 6 months. And then the other expression I brought is añejo. Añejo. And that's been aged for, reposado can be aged anywhere from 2 months to a year. We age ours right at 6 months. And then an añejo is aged anywhere from a year to 3 years.
That's what I drink.
Yep. And so ours, we're minimalist. Once again, big word of the day.
Fortuitous.
And we age ours at a year and 1 day. So, the biggest thing, and obviously these are some shameless plugs, but what we're most proud of is additive-free, preservative-free, ground to glass. Very simple, very clean, very easy to drink. No additives, no sugars, no fillers, or anything like that.
That's the key.
Yeah. So, I always feel compelled. When I ask people to sample tequila, they always they balk, and I said, "Let me guess, you had a bad experience at high school or college or spring break," and they all say
they ate
yes.
the worm.
Yeah, but that's because they drink bad tequila. But when you drink good tequila, it's a whole different experience.
Absolutely.
All right, so we got to get to the sampling on this.
Yep.
So
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's pretty good. Could I have some of the añejo?
Yeah. Reposado.
Oh, this is añejo?
I just poured you the the añejo.
Let me
Wow.
let me see
Yeah, that's
what
good
the
stuff.
difference is.
So,
Yeah.
actually, it's not great radio if all you hear is just
Yeah, I know
people
that's not great
swallowing.
radio. What is great radio?
It is. Actually, it's great. It's great radio for us driving home. Maybe not as great for you, but yeah, Brett, this is really good. I'm
good.
generally not a tequila guy, but that is outstanding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So thank you very much for coming in, Brett Glaze. You've been listening to Jim Merritt, Brad Klopfenstein. We are filling in for Hammer Nigel. Appreciate you listening.
See you next week.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified. Luxury. Even the hard-to-find ones. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote.